Okay. Okay, coming from the entrance hall, I'm gonna call this room ground floor left. Um, Coming through these doors, which are recuperable, and they're gonna be nice to put back. The floor, uh, there seemed to be some problem with humidity in this room because this doesn't have the cellar underneath it. But my experience is that these houses, when they're left closed up, and this house has been closed up for 25 years or so, there's humidity that rises that you don't have to worry about when the house is being used. Alessandra wasn't sure about that, and Gabriella absolutely thinks that you should pull up the floor, put down igloo, change the floor, and all the rest of it, but I don't think we're going to listen to Gabriella. Anyway, my experience with houses that are being used is that once they're being used, the humidity just evaporates, and you're actually going to be heating this house some of the time, so I don't see that there's a problem with it. The humidity on the floor was in this section, and it's already drying up just in the few days that we've had the windows open. There is this piece here that might have a humidity problem. You see here, it did have a humidity problem for sure, but again, two things. One, the house has been closed up, and two, it's got the plaster on, the cement plaster on it. The first wall that we're looking at is the same one that backs onto the staircase where that lovely brick wall is. Obviously somebody else had the same idea. Nick and the sandblaster guy both thought that this wall would be beautiful with this stuff taken off, the rest of it taken off, and just sandblasted. And if you do that, you have the second benefit of releasing the humidity, because the brick is going to breathe. This stuff clogs it up and keeps it from breathing, so it'd be healthier. The walls that are a little bit humid are healthier to be left without the cement on top. Okay, so the idea is to do that, always leaving the border for the electric. This front by the window, we haven't seen what's underneath it. But again, you have to leave the borders. This is where you wanted the little desk area. It's a bit high, but it could be brought down. I mean, this could be moved down here if you want to keep this as a desk area to sit. So think about that. Also, if you have the windows opening and closing, you can't really put anything here. So anyway, that's something that we want to know what you want to do. This area, this wall is a mess. It's really just, you name it, all kinds of, there's probably was an opening here that went into the other house at one time, and there's another old doorway over there. Here there's a chimney flue that goes up there, starting here, and there was probably a fireplace that was closed up at some time. And one thing you could do here is a wood stove, like here in this corner, that exits out here. It could even be left, just this little piece here, because it's interesting, really old brick. And maybe this stone could be, you could do something interesting with that. The rest of the wall should really be just covered up. You see, that's really ugly. The ceiling here we haven't really investigated that much, but it looks like it's the same situation as the other room, that you don't want to try to start to take all of this plaster off. It looks like it's in fairly good condition. It could just be cleaned. The beams, the iron beams would be cleaned and treated for rust and painted, and you can pretty much stay with what you've got. And wherever you put your light fixture on a ceiling like this, you can use those braided silk electric cords. I mean, you get up that high, and then use a braided silk cord over to where you want your ceiling fixture to come. They're very expensive, so you don't want to have too many meters of them, but here's a place where you could do it, so. What else? Oh, this was kind of interesting. We thought it could be interesting to leave. This wall isn't bad. It's not as pretty as this one. It's not bad. And this is old brick, all of this at the bottom, and stone all at the top. But what's kind of interesting is this old doorway that could be left as a highlight if you want, you know, something of the old building, or it could be covered over and just the arch and the border left, and then this piece, or the whole thing could be covered over, because remember, you're gonna have a lot of opportunity to have walls a vista in this room. So that's some things you need to think about for that. And this thing that we found is, it's used in the mountains when you're climbing, but Nick thinks, and I think he's probably right, that Letizia used it for a walking cane. It would be the kind of thing an old lady in her situation would have done. So we'll keep this for you.